I can't see nothing. Gotta open my eye. Cut me, Mick.
You don't want to do it.
Go ahead, cut me. Cut me.
Okay, try it. Cut it.
When you hear about slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice. Like, you was there for 400 years and it's all of y'all? You know, like, it's like we're mentally in prison. I like the word prison because slavery goes too direct to the idea of blacks. It's like slavery, Holocaust Jews, slavery is blacks. So prison is something that unites us as one race, blacks and whites being one race. That we're the human race. We're human beings and stuff. And eventually, you know.
Can I go back to something you just said? Because I don't want to let it pass. You said that slavery was around for 400 years. At a point, it becomes a choice?
Yeah, right now we're choosing to be enslaved.
Brothers act like they couldn't have been slaves back 200 years ago. It ain't like them motherfuckers like that shit. I wish I was a slave. I would fuck somebody up. Shit, tell me to bale some motherfucking cotton. I would have been on the street and shit. You would have came up and said, hey, yo, nigga, bale this cotton. Oh, said, suck my dick, master. Suck my motherfucking dick. That's right, I ain't bailing the motherfucker. It wasn't like that shit. The first dude that got off the boat said that shit. Bail that cotton. Fuck you, motherfucker. The other motherfucker said, we'll bail the shit, just keep that shit over. Just keep that fucking shit away from me.
It's the mob. The mob tries to tell you what to think. The mob tries to make all blacks be Democrats for you know, food stamps and stuff. It's the mob. Like, and by the way, you're just talking to the emotion. You know, when you get Candace, ask her, she's gonna drop you the facts.
If you find an ahistorical individual, you found someone who is a fool dangling. And when you find a fool dangling, they will fall for any trick. And so if they don't think they're connected to the civil rights movement or the African independence movement or the freedom efforts of people in Latin America or anywhere else, then they are connected to something. And there is this whole notion that we can have a dangling individual who is just being themselves as they express themselves, which is a foolish individual. Because if they're dangling themselves and expressing themselves, let them do it in a language that they create. Let them do it with cameras that they invent. Let them do it with cultural references that they somehow imagine. And I guarantee you that nobody else in the world will be able to relate to it. Because what we actually do is communicate with people. But we don't communicate with people simply by our own imagination. Our imagination is in the shadow of the past.
I don't have extremely strong political opinions. You could talk to John Legend if you want some political. I've never been into politics. I just love Trump. That's my boy. Like, you know, it's like so many rappers. You'll look at a video of Snoop Dogg loving Trump, but then he get in the office and now they don't love him. Like, Trump is one of rap's favorite people, right?
So it's very difficult to create art that has no political import at all. Certainly it's very difficult to create narrative that has no political import at all. And people who think that they are creating narrative that has, you know, no political import are usually verifying the overarching politics of the day. You know, it's simply inescapable. You know what I mean? Having said that, I think like the way it works when you're making the art is you have to make the art and the politics have to be somewhere back here. You know, so you're not thinking consciously as you write out, you know, the lines. You know what I mean? As you write out the dialogue, as you state, you know, you're well within the craft, but there have to be some assumptions about the politics that happen before you go to write. And then when you go to write, you kind of just gotta, you know, say, okay, this is the assumed world. You know, one of the things I, you know, assumed about, you know, Wakanda is that Wakanda was that it was a human society, that it was complicated, that it had, you know, as I said, you know, all the richness, you know, of anybody else's, you know, mythical and, you know, created society. And then those were my assumptions, and I ran from that. Is that a political statement? Yeah, it is. I mean, if you live in a country, in a world, as we do, where people regularly demean and dehumanize black humanity, yes. You know what I mean? If you live in a country where a Black Lives Matter, you know, movement needs to actually happen, yes, it's a statement. You know, if you live in, you know, a world in which, you know, you go to your various social media and you see, you know, black people being choked to death, you know, being shot by agents of the state to assert that black people have humanity, yes, that is a statement. Yes, it is. You know what I mean? And by the way, I think it plays a very, very vital role long term, you know, in those problems being diminished. Because part of the reason why people can stomach the laws and the policies that make that possible in the first place is they don't see you as human. You know, and art has, you know, a very foundational role in making sure that we see each other as human beings.
The liberals and the echo chamber and all that is having the most sore loss of all time. Like that, we're gonna just keep putting out, it's like torture porn. We're gonna keep showing you negative, when these are human beings. Even like with George Bush, people said, don't apologize. I'm like, wait a second, I just saw George Bush pushing George Bush Sr. in a wheelchair, and he just lost his wife. Do you know how bad I would want to go to George Bush and say, I'm sorry for hurting you. I was an artist, I was hurting.
Bitch, are you for real? Every day we have to walk into that truth while you choose to say things that, to be honest with you, dog, are nonsensical. You want to think freely? That's fine. I'll combat your free thought with my free thought because mine is grounded in a reality that I've been given and a reality that I'm going to change, but I'm not going to do it by pretending that the enemies are on the same team as me. And frankly, I'm disappointed, I'm appalled, and brother, I am unbelievably hurt by the fact that you have morphed into something, to me, that's not real. That's the way I feel. Stand on all the coffee tables you want to stand on, say whatever you want to say, but don't throw a stone, then hide your hand like the rest of us are just gonna swallow it. Yay, be yay, I'm off it, forever. Do you, but remember, the life that I live is as a real person, an actual person.
Now the thing is, he said he said grounded in reality. This reality has been forced upon us. It is a choice, just like when I said slavery is a choice. The reality, we can make our own reality. We can talk about history, but not too long. We need to talk about our now, because we can fix and start loving each other now. I say we have no enemies. We don't have enemies. Black people have a tendency to focus and march when a white person kills a black person or wears a hat. But when it's 700 kids being killed in Chicago, it's okay. It's okay for blacks to kill blacks. But if it's a white thing...
I don't think anybody's saying that's okay.
There's been
more focus and more marches
that is a lie.
About whites killing blacks than kids in Chicago killing each other.
That's a lie.
You always want to point out in hashtag when a white person kills a black person, but what about all this black and black crime? Godfrey, aren't you from Chicago? What about that, my brother?
Done that. First of all, okay, this is real. There is black and black crime. You know what makes me mad is all the gangbangers, right? Mm-hmm. All the gangbangers that are supposed to be banging and shit. Okay, the cops are killing us. Why aren't you shooting at them for us? What happened, gangbangers? All of a sudden they at home and shit. Motherfuckers are at home. We're all these tough gangbangers. We need you. Hello? Hey, man, the Italians got mafia. Like the Italians, you know what I love about the mafia, the Italians? They protect their neighborhoods. They protect their neighborhoods. They protect their people. We're the only motherfuckers that have no mafia. Black people don't got a mafia. We can't even organize crime. We're the only motherfuckers that can't even organize fucking crime. God, we'll fight over a bag of weed. Oh, man, you smoking it all. No, I'm being real. Jewish mafia, Japanese got it, Chinese got mafia. We the only motherfuckers with no mafia.
All right, well,
because we are terrible at sticking together. I'm serious. We are the worst.
Well, let's spread.
And black on black crime is true, but on camera, black men are getting shot left and fucking right when they're being handcuffed and shit like that, which is fucking ridiculous. It's like, what the fuck is that? You know? It doesn't make, it's like unfair. It's like, so that means I think it's more than just, they say we were fearing for our lives, please. A lot of these police guys are tough dudes, man. They're not like bullshit ass dudes. You know what I mean? I give them the credit for even doing that kind of job. It's a dangerous fucking job. But I think there's a hatred. It's a hatred of a fucking hatred. It's a disease. You have a hatred for a certain kind of person. And if you can find a way to get rid of them, you're going to do that. It's that hatred. It's that it has to be a mentality change. There has to be a new socialization of cops and regular people. Like that stereotype, that assumption of each other, that preconception of each other, it has to be broken by going out into the neighborhoods and talking to people. And that makes a big difference. There are cops that do that know the neighborhood, that know, you know, everybody in the neighborhood, and everybody's cool like that. You have to have a respect for a certain type of people, man. It's no different than education. That's why they let the schools that blacks and Latinos go to dilapidate and deteriorate, because they don't like those people. They don't have respect for those people. They don't have respect for them.
Well, they'll let the neighborhood run down.
Yeah, when you hate a certain people, you don't give a fuck what happens to them. Well, you want them to die in any kind of way, whether it's educationally, mentally, physically. You want them to die when you truly hate them.
I'm not a white supremacist. I don't support white supremacy. By the way, white supremacy is a redundant statement in America. Whites are supreme in America. That's what we taught.
Supreme. And if I'm not supreme to you, I'll make you think I am.
My wife said to my daughter, tell daddy what you learned in school. And she said, I learned that mama's white and I'm black. I said, damn, I wish I got the heads up. They said, no, we had to tell her because of Martin Luther King's birthday. But a white teacher told her that. So what does it mean to be black in America if a white teacher tells her that she's black?
It's very close to chaos. You know, it's a social chaos, which is a result, if you see what I mean, of the failure or the betrayal of what we have to call the social contract. The social contract made in principle with all citizens in the society. You know, and you are a citizen, I am too. And the contract with us has never been honored. And that means that every citizen of this country is in terrible trouble, because when you're in trouble, Detroit is in trouble, if you see what I mean. And the white people of this country have wrecked their own cities in a flight from us, you know? So that's domestically, and I'm putting it much too simply, because it's a very loaded question. Internationally, though, it's not possible to flee from the world, you know, and I repeat, the world is not white, you know? And the example in this country of black people, you know, is not lost on the world, which I repeat is not white, you know, and there's not enough money or enough, there's not enough to seduce, you know, black people in this country or in the world into the Western way of life, because there's not enough left over to go around for white people.
We're on now. You remember I gave how many people are feeling, how many people felt something that I said today? Raise a hand if you felt something that I said today. Do you feel that I'm feeling, do you feel that I'm being free and I'm thinking free?
Yes.
I don't think you're thinking anything. I think what you're doing right now is actually asking thought. And the reason why I feel like that is because, Kanye, you're entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to believe whatever you want. But there is fact and real world, real life consequence behind everything that you just said. And while you are making music and being an artist and living the life that you've earned by being a genius, the rest of us in society have to deal with these threats to our lives. We have to deal with the marginalization that has come from the 400 years of slavery that you said for our people was a choice.
If we went to some darkest part of Africa today, where nobody's ever been, and carried one of them coffee percolators with us, where you have the water down here, and then it goes up, the coffee come back. All we got to do is have the water down here and some red dye, and we can tell them that's blood. We make blood. Okay? See, that's what ignorance is, when you have to depend on something else other than what the real God gave you.
I'm not asking nobody if they want water. I'm not assuming. If you want water, you saw me grab the water. You go grab your own water. We need to start being worried about ourselves and stop being worried about what other people think. And we have the right to free thought. And guess what? No, this is not the Malcom X movie. No black person is finna touch Kanye West. We got love. Nobody finna touch me.
Shit, nigga, please.
We're nonviolent with people who are nonviolent with us. But we are not nonviolent with anyone who is violent with us. Once those intentions are made known, we can get to the nitty-gritty of the problem. We can get to the core of the problem. We can get to the root of the problem. And then we can correct the problem.
Bro, you gotta be responsible, man.
Bro, I'm sorry I hurt you.
You gotta be responsible.
No, I'm sorry I hurt you, bro.
Bro, your voice is too big. You gotta
I'm sorry I hurt you, bro. I love you, bro. I'm sorry I hurt you with my words, bro.
Yeah, bro.
I love you, bro.
Responsible, man.
Bro,
you gotta be responsible.
I didn't mean to say things that hurt you. I didn't mean to wear the hat out the blue and shock so many people and not give them a way out of the pain. I understand that gave them pain, that made them see pain. But guess what? When I went into the hospital, we're now in the hospital. TMZ is the hospital to fix the world.
I think what happens is if you're doing it good, if you're actually good at it, if you actually, you know, create something that's worthwhile, you'll stand the test of history. And then I can talk to you in 20 years about that. You know what I mean? But the immediate reaction, I mean, you got to write, and please don't take this the wrong way. Please, no one take this wrong. You got to write past the fans. You know what I mean? And frankly, as a consumer, I want you to write past me. You know what I mean? Like all of the, you know, the great stuff, all the comic book stories that I loved, all the stories, period, that I love, you couldn't poll me to get them out. Do you understand what I'm saying? You shouldn't really be talking to me. You know, you really shouldn't be engaging with me. You should, you know, like Miles, you know, your back should be to the crowd.
I think love conquers all. I think love, I know, not think, I know from the bottom of my gut and my soul and my spirit and my subconscious that love is the strongest force in the universe. And right now, we need love. We need the moment when North Korea and South Korea connect. We need the moment when we go down to Charlottesville and we go down and visit, go to those houses. We need to break down race. We talk about race so much, we don't even talk about class. I want to talk about class for a second. There's a class war happening right now too. And the class war might be, the class war is one of the reasons why Trump won. Because Obama was so high class that it stopped speaking to the middle and the lower class. He's so classy. And to break the class system, we have to start by loving ourselves, because what you say to somebody is a reflection of how you feel about yourself when you put that energy in the world. I love myself. What you are seeing is actually, this is the most confident I've been since my mom passed.
We're gonna talk about something that, I know you said you had this conversation with Kanye. I'm obviously personally very interested in this, the concept of that black men have to be perfect at all times.
It was just a point about Hollywood and the media perception of black men. This perfect idea of superhero with Obama or Michael Jordan. I want to show people that it's okay to screw up and you still can make it through things.
How did all of this trouble begin?
Living in America. There's nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong at all. You're not in any difficulty, but you're out on bond.
Yeah, I'm out on love.